Philadelphia News, team of my heart.
You know that feeling when everything seems set to work and then it all falls apart right in front of your eyes? You saw the hype, you felt the hope, you believed last season could finally be the one, but suddenly, things just crumbled, fast. Now I want you to really think. What actually broke the Philadelphia 76ers last season? You might think it was the injuries, the never-ending injuries. But what if I told you that's not even close to the full story? Someone inside that locker room just exposed a truth that not even the front office dares to say out loud. And the worst part? You probably never saw it coming. You're about to hear a perspective that could flip your entire view of what happened last year. Straight from a guy who lived the chaos from the inside, start to finish. He didn't hold back, and what he said? It's sending shockwaves through every Sixers fan who still believed the collapse was just about Embiid's knee or Maxey's hamstring. Nah, this goes way deeper. There's pain behind those losses. There's tension behind that trade deadline. And you deserve to know the truth behind all this Sixers news. But hold up, can you guess who this player is? I won't say the name yet. I want you to leave a comment below the moment you figure it out. Let's see if you were paying attention because the clues are all here. Here's what you need to understand. The Sixers didn't just lose games. They lost identity. And someone from that locker room just pulled the curtain back on exactly why. Forget all the excuses you've heard. This is personal. This is raw. And if you're a real Sixers fan, this will hit you deep. Because you watched this team go from title talk to trade talk in what felt like a heartbeat. You waded through every Woj bomb and sham report, clinging to some hope that the next move would fix things. But no move could fix what was broken inside. The truth? It wasn't just Joel Embiid's body giving up. It was something you couldn't see on the box score. It was in the reaction, or the lack of it. A Sixer came forward and said it loud. What really changed everything were the traits. The traits, you heard me. Not the injuries, not the rehab timelines, not even the rotations. It was the way that locker room reacted after the pieces started getting shuffled like a poker deck. You want Sixers news? Here it is, straight from the player's mouth. We were right there. Guys were just hurt, but it was the trades that changed us. Imagine hearing that from someone who was there, who felt the air get sucked out of the room after every transaction. You probably remember when Quentin Grimes arrived, or when Reggie Jackson got shipped out. Maybe you noticed how weird the chemistry looked, even when some of the guys returned. That wasn't just on the coach. That wasn't just Nick Nurse scratching his head on the sideline. That was a locker room that felt like it was walking on broken glass. Every trade deadline move became a reminder that the organization didn't believe anymore. That maybe, just maybe, they were already preparing for the offseason before the season was even done. Think back to that 9-3 December stretch. It looked good, right? Gave you hope again. But now looking back, 7 of those wins came against teams below .500. It was a mirage. Because once the injuries started piling again, the Sixers didn't respond with unity. They unraveled. Slowly, quietly, and painfully. And this Sixer, the one talking now, he noticed it all. He was in the room when guys stopped looking each other in the eyes. He felt the disconnect every time someone new walked through that door after a trade. You see, you've been told for months that this team's collapse was just about bad luck. That if Embiid stayed healthy, if Maxey didn't miss games, if Paul George got rolling sooner, things would have been different. But what if that's just smoke? What if the real issue was how everyone else reacted when the pieces started moving? The fear, the doubt, the frustration. It built up, and this Sixer saw it firsthand. That's why he's speaking out now. So before you say, it was just the injuries, I want you to stop and think. Did those trades make things better or worse? And did they send a silent message that the team had already given up on the season? This player believes that's exactly what happened. He's not blaming injuries. He's blaming how the team responded to adversity. That's what crushed the Sixers.
And you know what? He might be right. Because when a team loses its spirit, no superstar in the world can save him. Not even Joel, not even Maxey, not even PG. When the belief is gone, the wins disappear too. And that's the painful truth that this player just laid out for everyone to hear. A truth you probably felt last season, deep down. But now, it's finally been said out loud. So now you're starting to connect the dots, right? You saw the Sixers collapse game after game, thinking it was just bad luck. But what if it wasn't just about bodies breaking down? What if it was about minds breaking apart? When one of your own steps up and tells the truth, you've got to listen. Because this isn't some outsider pointing fingers. This is a guy who wore the jersey, sat on the bench, traveled with the squad, and watched every painful step in real time. And what he's saying, it hurts, because it confirms what you maybe didn't want to believe. This Sixers squad gave up on itself before the season was even over. He didn't scream, he didn't call anyone out by name, but his words cut through the noise like a siren in South Philly. The trades changed everything. You probably thought the Sixers front office was just doing damage control, adding some depth, clearing cap space. You saw the Caleb Martin swap. You watched KJ Martin get salary dumped, Reggie Jackson out, a pile of second-round picks in. On paper, business as usual. But inside that locker room, it felt like a funeral. You could see it in the body language. Maxey trying to rally the guys but getting silenced back. Embiid watching from the sidelines, again helpless. Paul George looking like a hired gun, dropped into a system that never really had time to gel. And every time someone else got shipped out or walked in, it felt like starting over. No rhythm, no continuity, no belief. Just a team dragging itself to the finish line with no fire left. So when this player stepped in front of a mic, not in a post-game presser, but on a podcast with no filters, no team PR handler, and laid it out there, you felt it. You saw the pain in his voice. Not anger, not bitterness, just a heavy truth. A truth that said, this Sixers squad wasn't beaten on the scoreboard. It was broken inside. You want real Sixers knows? This is it. A voice from the locker room telling you that chemistry fell apart not because of who was injured, but because of how the team responded to those injuries. And more importantly, how they handled each other. No more togetherness, no fight, no connection, just trade after trade after trade. A message, loud and clear. This season, it's over. That's why you felt so disconnected watching them. You kept waiting for that spark, that here come the Sixers energy. But it never came back because the soul of the team was gone. The passion that made you stand up during every Wells Fargo run was replaced with long stares and awkward lineups. It wasn't just strategy that failed, it was spirit. And this player, man, he didn't have to say all this. He's not even with the team anymore. He could have kept quiet, moved on. But he didn't. He chose to speak. And that tells you everything. It tells you that what happened in Philly last season wasn't just about load management or missed rotations. It was about human emotion, about the gut punch of realizing your own franchise might have stopped believing in you. And now the fans are left picking up the pieces. You're asking yourself, where do we go from here? Who's stepping up? What changes will actually stick this time? You're watching Sixers management reshuffle again. New faces, new rookies, veterans, big names. But deep down, you're thinking, will this season be different? Or will we just end up here again? That's why you need to stay close. Because what happens next, the next Sixers news, the next trade, the next locker room shift, could decide whether this team climbs back or keeps falling. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. You need to be the first to know what's real, what's spin, and who's telling the truth from inside the room. And now, if you've made it this far, I owe you the name. The one who broke the silence, the one who said what no one else would, the voice who told you that the Sixers didn't just fall, they unraveled. His name is Guerschon Yabusele. Let me ask you something. Do you agree with him? Do you think it was the trades that broke this team? Or do you still believe it was all about the injuries? I want to hear from you in the comments. Let's talk. And if you watched all the way through, drop the word heart in the comments so I know you're one of the real ones, one of the fans who feels this team like I do.